May the God known to each of us provide the strength and wisdom to perform the duties and fulfill the responsibilities required by our oath of office. May our actions be pleasing to God and meet the expectations of the citizens we serve. Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order, March 19th, 2024. Councilmembers, you have minutes from March 5th, 2024 before you. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion we accept as presented. I second.
Motion and a second on the floor to accept the minutes from March 5th. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We don't have anybody officially signed in to speak. I talked to a couple before the meeting, so I think Jerry's gonna come to park board the next time, and Ms. Persinger, I'm gonna link you up with the chief of police as soon as we get done here, okay? So we'll just move right into our agenda. Before we get started, I am gonna ask that the council make one change to the agenda, which is item D, the consideration of an approval of an ordinance for partial alley closing. That does come as a recommendation from the planning commission. There's one more legwork that I thought we may have done before now. So I'm gonna ask that we strike that from the meeting this evening. We'll bring back at a subsequent meeting. I'm gonna make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second to strike item D under new business. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You have department updates before you from the police department, public works. If there's any questions of public works or the police department this time, please feel free to ask us. I will tell you that our new public works supervisor has been on the job for a week or so, almost 2 weeks now. I think the guys are all getting along very well, and I think there's some changes that have taken place that have been good for the department. If you get a chance to go to Depot Street, go over and check out the rock slide. It's fantastic over there. Yeah. So anyway, we don't have old business. There are a couple of items for new business consideration of item A is consideration of approval bid for correcting drainage in Brady Alley and paving the municipal parking lot. Danny, would you like to go over those bids and make a recommendation of your team that worked on that?
Yes, we advertised in the paper and received two bids, paving solutions. Their bid was $111,109.17. Asphalt contractors, they bid it in 3 parts, and the sum of those 3 parts is $47,651.29.
Bunch of
So
money.
my recommendation is asphalt contractor.
I think that's
Why was there such a?
Pardon me?
Why is there such a difference?
They own their own milling machine, and the other guy don't. He has to rent it.
Okay.
There were some obvious differences that we all scratch our heads at. I think it's about saying Danny and his crew make sure that they're on the job with those guys at that point to make sure specifications are met according to what we put out and what we wanted to be in that price difference. I scratched my head a whole lot too. So we just want to make sure we're getting what we're paying for sure. So the recommendation is to take the asphalt contractor's bid.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion and a second to accept that bid. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is the first reading of the fiscal year 2024-25 general fund budget. As you all know, we had our work session to go over that. It's time for review of those budgets, and since it is a first reading, there's no discussion. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the first reading of the 24-25 general fund budget.
Make that motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item is school severance budget. Same rules apply. We're doing the first reading, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the Cole severance fund budget on the first reading.
Make the motion. Second.
Motion and a second to accept the Cole severance fund budget. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We struck item D, so moving on to Fair Housing Month. The proclamation is in the back of your packets. And just as a matter of note, we do this annually, and it is to keep us eligible along with the other municipalities in Cabell County, as well as Cabell County, eligible for block grants, CDBG money, and Region 2 is the conduit which is our help in those areas. So we'll be forwarding that proclamation on so that our members of our other municipalities, sister cities, as well as the county are eligible for those type funds when applied for. If there is, I'll entertain a motion to accept the proclamation for Fair Housing Month, and that will be the month of April 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept fair housing.
What did she say, Ray? There's a motion and a second to accept the
I feel like I should do this.
Fair Housing Month proclamation. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I will tell so that you guys know for next meeting, I want to plan to have a work session. I'm also going to have Lacey Conley, who's helped us out with our grant writing, as I texted you guys earlier in the week. There were 6 items on the federal budget approved. One of those was the allocation for our sanitary sewer project, so that second $5 million allocation is now definitely coming to the village. So I'm going to have her come and talk about, the process and where we are with respect to that project, the amount of funds that we have. We're pretty close to being fully funded. It's a pretty neat thing that the village is receiving these type funds for our sewer projects. So we'll have her at the next meeting, but I do want to plan a work session for 6:30, if that's okay, before the next regular council meeting. I'll also say that in looking for grants and some of the things that she's been helping us out with, we found some things for Little League. We're to pass those along to Little League and a couple other organizations. She's found some main opportunities for Main Street grants, as we've talked about as well. So those will be coming up before us for Main Street stuff. We'll pass along the stuff for Little League to help them get some funding as well. John, when do we officially get our audit report back?
It should be completed this Friday.
Okay.
We got a draft.
I was gonna say, do you mind if I mention that at all?
Sure, go ahead.
Our audit came back clean, so I'm gonna say congratulations on his department, again, just for handling the finances, and I appreciate your hard work, Dawn, and, it does not go unnoticed, so no findings on our audit, which is pretty good, so thank you for your work. I don't have anything else to see, Rachel. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything other than thank you all for coming and being here, and that's it.
All I would like to say is that we keep the Wilma Smith family in our prayers tonight, since they've laid her to rest today. She's been a fixture of this town for years, the whole family has, so, just needs to be noted. And thank you all for coming.
I've been out to the park and it's very busy out there and everything looks awesome, Andre. There's people everywhere. If they're going down that road toward the soccer fields, everybody drive safe, cause it is
Yes.
packed with dudes and people on bikes and it's the way it's supposed to be. It's what it was all done for, so good job. Is there a way that we can put on the app, newsletter, and maybe even the sign about, I've been walking, and the grass clippings are already all over everywhere, the sidewalks, the curbs.
Yeah, we have the graphic to do that on the sign already. I think we did that last year, so we'll get that put back out, and I think that's actually scheduled for the next newsletter according to Brandy when we were talking.
I don't know if we have to make the suggestion to turn your lawnmower around the other way so it blows.
That's right.
But it's already starting to be a problem and everybody's
Sure.
just mowed one time.
Yep, we'll throw those reminders out.
Danny, on Union and Wilson, where I don't know what the issue was, but where the pylons were, they're still not, blacktop or paving's not been done in front of Walters, in front
The
of,
plant opened this past week, so
okay,
we'll
in
get
front of
on that.
Walters' house. And, thank you Lacey and Mayor for following through on that grant. That is not only huge for us and the budget, but also for every citizen in the village of Barboursville. Thank you for your hard work. John, proud of you once again. I mean, you just keep doing good. Thank you for being part of it.
I got a good support team.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I got.
I was gonna say same thing. Thank you, John. We all know it's a lot of work. a lot of time, a lot of numbers looking at. But thank you guys for being here, and appreciate everybody being
Speaking of how busy the park is, and thanks for keeping the meeting going so I could get here and tell you.
Just in time.
It's a cold ball game is all I will say. But bathrooms, I know we were talking about when we're gonna open, but if we could maybe plan for next year, cause I think things are just gonna start happening sooner and sooner. If we could plan for next year, whatever we can do for heat wrap or anything, so we can get the bathrooms open sooner, cause I mean, they would be utilized. I mean, it's already a need. People are looking for construction porta potties and everything out there, so if we can see what we can do to get them open earlier, it's something we can plan for next year. And then the grass clippings, I know we always plaster that, put it on the newsletter, put it up on the signs. Who is capable of putting a door hanger, not maybe a citation, but an acknowledgement on the doors of the homes we
Yeah.
see it happen
It's-
more
I mean,
often?
if you have addresses, you can send them in, we get some,
Okay, or send a letter, I guess,
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
along this, but I
Yeah.
think that would go a lot farther if we can address it specifically.
yeah, I think, Paul, didn't we have a form letter one time? So there's a form letter still here, so if there's a place that you know, just write the address down, we can send it.
I really don't think people realize what it does. I mean,
Yeah, right. Storm, it's taxing on the storm drains and the system itself
Well, it
too.
causes flooding
Yeah.
in people's
For sure.
Motorcycle riders and
Yeah.
everything. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay.
Andre, thank you for everything that you do out at the park. I know that, of course, we're not West Virginia's best kept secret park anymore. But still, we're mighty proud of everything that's going on out there, and you know, new events all the time, and you know, it's awesome to see how far that's come over the years. And remember from its humble beginnings when we were tearing down trees and leveling things off, and unfortunately, I do remember those days. But thank you for all that, and John, thank you for everything that you've done on the budget and everything. I don't know if the auditor will have any recommendations. I do remember there wasn't any last year, and
No, they were not.
hinted that the last page may have been torn off.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking for maybe a recommendation, even if it was slight and everything like that. But I do have one quick thing, and that is on 997. Samuels, there is, you know, Chris, there's a creek that runs underneath that ties the stormwater between Ralston and ties in behind Samuels.
Oh,
It goes through a couple private properties, and one of those properties, there's like a sinkhole that is in these folks' yard, but it's due to that drain that comes through there. It's almost at the back alley between the half alley between Ralston and Samuels back in there.
997.
But it's off of,
997
it's
Samuels.
Mr. Isaac's.
Okay, Jim, okay. I
Yeah,
know Jim.
Mr. Isaac's property.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a big hole, there's a big dog that could even fall down into that hole, I don't know.
It's in his
If
yard or on the edge of the alley?
It's in his yard,
Okay.
but it does come from that storm drain, so I don't know how
We'll take a look into it, I'm not sure.
okay, I don't know if it's
We'll have to
from
look and see if it's-
erosion or
Yeah.
whatever, but I just thought that, he did ask me to.
Yeah, we'll send Chris up there as well. Danny, did you get the address?
Yes,
Okay.
997.
Thank you.
And Uptown, I can't wait to see the final result of how Uptown is going to end up looking. And just I take detours to check it out. And I see, oh, it's coming along good.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. Thank you.
I think the nice thing is too about what's happening in town is it's all people who are investing back where they grew up.
Yeah.
It's a really neat synergy right now with those guys and what they're doing with their company. Patrick's wearing the logo on his jersey, but those are all guys that came up through the Little League system and they grew up here and they have nothing in mind but what's best for the town. So it's pretty neat to see that stuff happening. March 30th, egg hunt. I think it's on the electronic signboard. It's in the newsletter. Saturday, Mother's Day weekend is Vineyard in the Village. Those will also be in the newsletter. And if there's anything else submission-wise, I think content is taken up for quite a while. Brandy and Rachel and a number have been working on what's coming up. So that's how I knew the grass clipping was coming. But if you have any suggestions, please forward those on. And then, again, if addresses for grass clipping and stuff, just send them on in and we can get that one letter out. So,
Are we having a village yard sale again?
yeah, it's
First weekend in May.
It's in the, yeah,
It's in the
it was
newsletter.
in the newsletter. So, yes, to answer your question, yes, it'll be that same week as cleanup week. Which will happen the same manner it always does. Department heads, everybody good over there? Chief, good, alright, go ahead.
Just, the Smith family as well.
Yeah.
I was with Mom over at Village of Riverview before I came over here, and, you know, they were going to get Wilma's, some of her items there, and they're struggling a little bit, they need our prayers.
They told some good stories today about her at her funeral, and since she was at Village Riverview, she was kind of the mayor of Village Riverview, so she will be sorely missed in the Smith
We
family.
handled, the escort all the way to the cemetery there in the Institute, and, just a beautiful vault, a beautiful service, it was just very fitting.
Thank you guys for
Wonderful woman.
Thank you guys for taking care of that too, Chief, I appreciate that. If there's nothing else to come before the council this evening, thank you everyone for coming. We'll adjourn the meeting.